Welcome to the Business Buyer Diaries. My name is Nathan Platter. I'm a full-time employee, and I bought a business. I did everything right, from finding the deal, handling all the due diligence on 63 opportunities, and ultimately bought a profitable gym. And boy, was I in for a big surprise as a new owner. I chronicled everything in real time, including the biggest wins to the stressful nights at 2 a.m. I'm sharing my journey without sugarcoating anything, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Here's today's episode.
All right. Well, happy Friday. Today we are going to go have a great day. And an area that I am getting stretched in is trusting staff to run things without my heavy involved. Something I wasn't anticipating was how comfortable staff can get when there's a heavily present the prior owner was in person, like 20, 30 hours a week. And so they're used to having like that comfort, that cushion, that pillar for them to lean on when there's a personal trainer in studio. They can talk about form, sales follow-up. Hey, I want to reorganize the shelf wall with I'll put the creatine up here and the protein down there. What do you think about like restocking and like just having like that friend in person? I am very different. I am in studio 3 hours a week, not even close to what they're used to. And so what that means is the staff are feeling more abandoned on their own, having to figure things out. Like, I don't care. Is this something I'm just milking for all I can? And it's up to them to figure it out. And they don't, then I'm not communicating expectations. I'm assuming a lot between the lines, but that's kind of the gist I'm sensing slowly. And candidly, like I've worked in corporate America and my whole career. And so when I started out in college, in college, I was used to having a manager like, hey, let's have like a check-in every couple days, like twice a week. Cool. I'll even have like a midday check-in because I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing for the right person at the right cadence. And that was how my career started off. And then over time, so like I've been a data analyst. I've been in business analytics, data analytics, basically seeing the data that a company generates about itself and then communicating to teams internally how the business is running. So marketing, sales, operations, here's the data. What does this mean? How do I communicate this so that you get this? And helping department owners understand their aspect of the corporate enterprise as a whole. And so that's fine. That's great. And so it's really my career that I was very much leaning on a manager. Middle of my career, it's like, okay, I'm a high-performing individual. I can run with projects. I can learn how to like map out, okay, someone needs something for them. I know how to sit down and like ask what questions to ask, how to establish timelines, how to manage expectations, how to set a cadence for check-ins, and how to do that with a specific stakeholder. Cool. Well, the phase of my career that I'm in now, after 12 years in corporate, I'm used to now being able to host the check-ins with team members and still contribute and make stuff for stakeholders and also figure out ways we can get additional work. So like marketing may say, hey, we need to know how a marketing campaign is going. I'll say, great. Based off this and this, would it also help to know like what campaigns are coming up? If your campaigns are ahead or behind of budget, if you can have any upsell conversations with account holders so that revenue can be increased. Or maybe I can give some feedback on how your campaigns can get tweaked midway so that you get a better return on ad spend, ROAS, in the same one campaign, and you get even better results than expected. And so now the stakeholder basically was giving us like a 1-week project, and now I'm getting like 3 or 4 weeks worth of work for my team that's going to deliver more value. And I know how to have those conversations and like upsell so that my team has more to do and we're delivering more value. People love us more and we have more job security. All I have to say, that's how my career has developed. That's where I am today. I am very used to autonomous groups. I give people outlines. I give them what they need to know. I know that they're experts in what they're doing. And I'm used to like a weekly cadence for checking with people. And I'll reach out and say, hey, we're having a check-in. We're having a catch-up, an update. We don't need to have an hour-long meeting if we can give an update in speed email or like a 10-minute Zoom call. Like, our time is better spent creating and doing rather than talking about creating and doing. That's often the case, not always. That's a long-winded answer on career and where I'm at today. I think my staff is used to having that person in the next to them, bouncing ideas around, figuring out things together, tag teaming, and not really having that autonomous, self-directed, you're smart, you're intelligent, I'm going to let you run with this, go conquer the world. Like, you got this. I have confidence in you. And some of them have it, some of that don't really have that. And so that's all frustrating, because I'm used to people wanting autonomy, not folks wanting me to be there for the sake of physical presence. And that's uncomfortable, because I'm very focused on effectiveness, juggling a lot of balls at once, getting a lot done, generating as much value for the enterprise as possible. And it's usually allowing high-performing individuals to do their siloed work on their own and not having to do a lot of check-in. I'm intentionally phrasing it that way because there's pros and cons to that mentality. And I think some of my staff is wanting me to be more present and engaged. What would happen if I sat in studio? I'd probably be sitting on Zoom calls. I'd probably be tapping away on Excel sheets. And I probably would not be doing what they're used to an owner doing. Basically, like leading personal training sessions, texting back members. I'd be working my day job in a gym. And that's, I'm sure they imagine I would be there and be a personal trainer. And I'd be there and I'd be like a corporate coder. And that's not what they would want to see. And it probably would be. And so I'm vocalizing all this out loud, because when the transition from an owner-operator shuffles to become more of an absentee owner structure, people will wonder, like, hey, do I have the strength to do this on my own? Do I have the backing if I make a decision and then make a mistake? Is that okay? What if I screw up? Is there going to be a consequence? Because they're not used to screwing up. They're being told, here's what to do, how to do it. Let's hold hands and do this together all the time. And I'm probably over-exaggerating it because it's a little frustrating, and so it seems like a bigger deal than it actually is. So I'm bringing my bias to this conversation, and I'm speaking more negatively about it than I'm sure is the actual case. You have to be I'm learning I have to be very communicative, confident in them, in their ability to do things. If things are hitting roadblocks, someone gets sick, someone quits, like, let me know. I got to know these things so that I can keep the business afloat and running and operating in a solid manner. But also, like, it's a tough line, because it's my business, my equity, it's my house, it's my personal credit on the line if things fold. But also, like, it's your operation. It's your day-to-day job to have these things handled and managed. And that's why you're the head manager, the shift manager, the coach manager, the instructor shift lead person for the shift. And it's a tough line of giving people the autonomy, but also telling them, like, no, I need to be involved in this and this and that. And I don't know. I'm figuring it out. I'm not perfect. I'm not doing it as well as I could. You just need to place the bet where that is right. You need to be better at establishing, here are cases where I need to know what's going on. Here are cases where I don't need to know what's going on. So we're figuring that out. As from yesterday, I haven't heard anything from that injured gym member. They had a friend come pick them up and take them to the urgent care or the ER. Quick reminder to make sure your insurance is paid up and that you don't get insurance. Nothing new from the corporate side of things. We're merging with another brand, so I was pretty fine with it. Franchisees had some concerns with it, and it was helpful to share my opinion, and it's helpful to hear their opinion because they have more track record with the corporate staff on things that they have been helpful with, things they have not been helpful with. And in my mind, I'm rather libertarian on as long as it doesn't bother me, as long as it doesn't throw my business off, I don't really care. But their perspectives are, well, does this impact royalties? Does this impact branding, the marketing fund? Will this reduce the number of services because we're now servicing 2 brands? Double the location, double the staff. Do we get double the value, or are we kind of out here on our own? So it's helpful to hear folks that have been around a long while. At the end of the day, a lot of franchisees are looking to sell. That's the reality of it. A lot of folks are not making the money they thought they would. And for better or worse, from what I'm gathering, that I was able to catch up with a long-term franchisee. And they said, like, back in the heyday when it started, and this is a franchisee that's been in the system for years. They were only like 3 years post-pandemic. So he thought the A days of like, hey, for our 10 weeks, and here's the story of the franchise system. And this is how context read. Maybe it is for you. Pre-COVID, like, we'll just go back to 2015, 16. The brand I'm in would do a ton of 10-week challenge, weight loss, big results. It was amazing. They would get like 100 challenge participants, and they were turning people away. They were doubling people up on the punching bag. In some cases, they were tripling people up on bags. They were turning people away. They had no more room. And they had like 400 members. They had 100 people join the 10-week session. They were paying themselves $10,000 a month take home pay. Like it was a cash machine. When COVID hit, he said overnight, half of the members canceled their membership. I didn't care what the cancellation fees were. Their membership dropped in half the day the order came out, like 50%. They went from 400 down to 200. And when you're used to paying yourself that much and you build out your gym lifestyle, you're going to be in the red very quickly. And so like one of the trauma stories he said is, yeah, like of the 200 remaining, they tried to like the reduced rate. They would cycle through on who would get a free month if they stayed on the studio. So like the 20s, like the first third of their members in alphabetical order be like, hey, we want you to stay. We need to keep our doors open. We can get through this. We're going to give you January free. But we're going to charge you for February and March. We'll give you April free. We'll charge you for May and June. But pay 2 months, get 1 month free. Pay 2 months, get 1 month free. We'll give you a bag, take them home. We'll give you a wearing equipment, take it home. Like, help us, please. That's basically the message. And so after COVID, you get smacked hard. And nowadays, the owners, because there's a few owners, there's a few hands in the pie for the studio that the guy I was talking to. They were like in the top 2, the top 1 studio out of the whole system. So it was kind of cool to hear. So that's what they had to do to keep things alive and going. But what they did from there is post-COVID, they're now like in recovery mode. And as of today, 2 years after COVID, it's 2024. So after like a full year of like things being mostly open, but still recovery, of the couple owners, they're each taking like a $1,000 a month take home compensation wise. So the gym is stable, it's semi-profitable, but like most small business owners, they're running personal expenses through the studio. Whether it be like meals, transportation, cell phone bills, like stuff that's legal and ethical and moral, but it's small business accounting. And so they're running personal expenses through it. And so it's not this big cash machine paying them $10,000 a month. It's now paying them $1,000. And so that's why they're looking at selling, because there's not a lot of things you own that are worth paying yourself just $1,000 a month for all of the liability and all the costs. They probably have like $30,000 to $40,000 a month in expense. And at the end of it, they're probably bringing in $32,000 to $42,000 a month. And it's not worth it. You can do a lot. You can make more money working a part-time job and bring them $1,000 a month. Especially for the folks that can own a small business, you more likely to own outside of the system in that time. And so I don't know where they rank now. They're definitely not in the top 1 or 2 studios. But it's helpful to hear from the OGs, like, what sky is the limit? How many members can this thing get up to, theoretically? I know it's still post-COVID. The world's still different. But what has been could be, again, in a new flavor. That's the sky is the limit. The sky feels lower, but that's what's possible. That's what I'm going to shoot for. So we go with all this. All this to say, it's helpful to gauge expectations based on owners that are in the past. It's helpful to hear what historic owners have done. And I'm learning with staff how to work with my ownership mentality with what they're comfortable with and used to. Because I don't know how long I'm going to be in Minnesota. I don't know how long I'll own the studio. I don't know a lot of things. And so I can't have the staff reliant on me because I'm not going to own this thing forever. Am I ever going to sell it? it's going to have to be able to be owner absentee, unless I want to sell it to a personal trainer, which I don't know if I'd want to do. And additionally with that, I want my staff to be confident, equipped, and upskilled to run this thing. Because frankly, there's other gyms out there that are set up that way that do less revenue, more profit, are less of a hassle. And this studio is a bigger cost of my time and energy, and financial resource. And so if I'm shopping, I want my studio to operate like the kind of studio that I'd want to own. And I'm keeping it vague, this whole thing, because it's not to bash the brand. It's not to praise another brand. I've tried to not advocate for anyone because no one's advertising with me, so I'm not going to promote them unless they give me a few dollars. But I need my team to be equipped. I need them to keep me in the loop when things happen that impact me, like a member getting an injury that may have a long-term effect, like when there's a membership drop-off, like when I need my staff to be equipped. I also need them to keep me in the loop. I need to know how big the sky's the limit is. And I just looked it off here because I feel like I'm talking in circles. That's where we're at. That's where we're going. And today I onboard my new sales rep, and I'm doing an Ask Me Anything with that want to buy business. So we're at. Where we're going. Rock and roll.
This has been another episode of the Business Buyer Diaries. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I hope you're realizing that business ownership is no cakewalk. Check the podcast notes for a link to the DIY due diligence program, the complete list of show sponsors, and for media inquiries. Music written and composed by Wes Schrock. I'm your host, Nathan Platter. Join me again on the next one.